Hello and welcome to EFSA Weekly. In this week's episode, we will discuss the latest news such as the 1,500-year-old temple in China burning down and artwork by famous artist Gustav Klimt getting sold at over $200 million and dying glaciers in the Himalayas threatening towns below. Let's start with the first headline of the week. A fire broke out at the 1,500-year-old Yongqing Temple in China on November 12. The Yongqing Temple's original buildings date back 1,500 years, but it now comprises only structures built in the 1990s. The Yongqing Temple managed the neighboring Wensheng Pavilion. The blaze damaged and destroyed the multi-story pavilion inside. Shared footage show the three-story building, which was built in October 2009, enveloped in flames and thick black smoke. Fortunately, the fire was quickly contained, and it did not spread to the nearby forest areas on Fangung Mountain in Jiangsu province, and there were no relics inside the pavilion. According to the local government, no casualties were reported, though investigators say that preliminary findings showed that the fire was caused by visitors' improper use of incense and candles. After the investigation is complete, restoration work will begin and safety measures will also be increased. This incident comes 2 years after the centuries-old Shandong Great Buddha Temple in Gansu Province's Shandong County was completely burnt down. The sole artifact that remained partially intact was a giant Buddha statue. Next headline, Gustav Klimt's long-hidden portrait of Elizabeth Lederer has just sold for a record-shattering price. This striking full-length painting of Elizabeth Lederer, the daughter of one of Klimt's most loyal patrons, was auctioned in New York on November 18th, $236 million. This mysterious, rarely seen painting by Gustav Klimt is now the most expensive modern art piece ever sold at auction and the most expensive work ever sold by Sotheby's. This price far surpasses the price paid 2 years ago for Klimt's Lady with a Fan, which sold for a record-breaking $108 million in London in 2023, making it the most expensive painting ever sold at auction in Europe. At this latest auction, Klimt's painting surpassed Andy Warhol's shot Sage Blue Marine to become the second most expensive artwork ever auctioned, behind Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi, which sold for $450.3 million in 2017. But what makes this nearly 2-meter tall portrait of a 20-year-old heiress and her elongated body wrapped in a shimmering white silk cocoon so valuable? Part of the answer lies in its dramatic history after Austria was annexed by Nazi Germany in 1938, the Lederer family's entire Klimt collection was confiscated. The portrait disappeared for decades before resurfacing on the market in the early 1980s. It later became part of the private estate of Leonard A. Lauder, heir to the Estee Lauder cosmetics empire, who passed away in June 2020. Hidden from public view for so long, the portrait has finally returned to the spotlight, bringing its secret with it. In the late 1930s, years after Klimt's death, Elizabeth faced growing danger because of her Jewish heritage. In a remarkable attempt to protect herself, she claimed that Klimt, who was not Jewish, was her biological father. Her mother, Serena, supported this false claim with a signed statement. The authorities accepted it, granting Elizabeth a new status that helped her survive under Nazi rule. This real-life twist adds a haunting layer to the portrait's symbolism and emotional weight. Whether Klimt's final masterpiece truly deserves its enormous price is open to debate, but there is no doubt that the portrait's mystery, history, and visual depth give it an artistic power that feels almost priceless. Lastly, melting glaciers across the rapidly warming Himalayas are creating thousands of mountain lakes, threatening communities scattered across the mountainous landscape. Just this August, 100 million gallons of meltwater overflowed into the village of Thame, flooding a health clinic, a school, potato fields, and dozens of homes. Fortunately, no one was injured. However, the incident highlights the significant threat that melting glaciers pose to a region that is among the fastest warming places on Earth due to the climate change. If loose soil and rocks around the basin slide into the water, or if a remaining ice floe breaking away, the lake water could be displaced, bringing catastrophic consequences. To better understand the potential damage from these floods, geomorphologists are currently examining 3D models of valleys before and after the events and measuring how much soil and rock the lake water accumulates as it accelerates, turning hundreds of millions of gallons of water into a slurry as thick as wet concrete. The warming occurring here could bring disaster not only for mountain villages but also for the billion people living downstream. The peaks of the eastern Himalayas are the world's highest peaks, so they hold so much water that they are known as the world's third pole. They are the largest freshwater reservoir on Earth, apart from Greenland and Antarctic glaciers. For the people living here, these changes are and will be devastating, threatening their farms, fisheries, and access to clean water, and injuring their way of life. Many trees are needed to slow this flood and capture some of the deadly sediment. The Mountains to Mangroves project, a regional initiative supported by Conservation International, aims to plant 1 billion trees in the eastern Himalayas and protect and restore 1 million hectares across Bhutan, India, Bangladesh, and Nepal. Drawing on local knowledge, this partnership focuses on ensuring the right trees are planted in the right places, strengthening ecosystems, and supporting the communities that depend on them. As the region faces the impacts of climate change and rapidly warming glaciers, overflowing lakes, and floods may be inevitable. For those living downstream along the meltwater path, regenerating degraded and devastated forests may offer the best chance of mitigating the worst impact. This concludes this week's episode of Hevsel Weekly. This week, we have explored an ancient Chinese temple burning down because of a tourist's faulty use of candles, a famous and rarely seen Klimt portrait being sold at a record price, and Himalayan glaciers threatening people living below. Thanks for listening to Hevsel Weekly. See you next time.